back to Recruiting from the Bleacher Parents, where we shine a light on families behind the athletics, the parents, the mentors, the legacy builders who help shape the journey from the playground to the collegiate courts. So today, I am honored to sit down with Robert McCray IV, a father whose dedication and wisdom have helped guide not one, but two children into the world of collegiate and professional basketball. So this is an opportunity for you to learn, get your notepads. It's going to be some really good information because his son right now, Robert McCray V, began his collegiate career at Wake Forest. And of course, he went to AC Flora High School here in South Carolina. Before transferring, after Wake Forest, he transferred to Jacksonville University, where he made a name for himself as a dynamic guard. Over 2 seasons, he scored over 1,100 points and earned all ASUN first team honors. Outstanding. He broke records in the ASUN tournament with 91 points scored, including a 36-point outburst in the semifinals. Outstanding. Now he's gearing up for a new chapter, and I'm excited for him about this particular chapter at Florida State with the Florida State Seminoles men's basketball team. He's going to bring his explosive scoring and leadership back to the ACC, and I think he's going to have a tremendous impact. Also, I want to mention Mr. McCray's daughter, Shaquanda Miller McCray, 6'4" center who anchored the paint for Georgia State for a few years. She finished her career at Georgia State with 164 blocks. She ranked 3rd all-time in school history, which is outstanding. In her senior season, she led the Sun Belt Conference in blocks, grabbed a remarkable 20 rebounds in a single game, time for 5th most in Georgia State University history. And today, she played overseas. Let me say that. She did play overseas. And now she is a head coach here in South Carolina for Crestwood High School. So she's doing tremendous things as well. Super proud of her. And let me not forget his other daughter, LaRonda, who played, and I'll just be transparent, she played with my daughter at the same high school at AC Flora in South Carolina here. She went on to play NAIA with Columbia College, which is, of course, here in South Carolina. And she also, from there, she went to Jacksonville. She walked on at Jacksonville University. During her time there, now she has the opportunity to play for Benedict College, which is also in South Carolina. So she's going to continue her collegiate career. Listen, parents, behind the stats and all the accolades, you have a father who's walked the recruiting road. He's weathered the highs and the lows and learned what it takes to support student athletes with purpose. So today, we're pulling back the curtain, not just on the game, but on parenting and on the planning that goes into raising champions and student athletes. So let's welcome Mr. Robert McCray IV to the microphone. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Appreciate it.
I'm giving you your proper applause because as parents, sometimes we don't get the applause. So I want to acknowledge you and all the things that you've done to get your children into collegiate athletics. So let me start by asking you this. And this is just kind of off the cuff. When did you notice that your children, or what were you looking for in your children to identify that you felt like they could go play on the collegiate level in their respective sports, which right now is basketball?
Early on, it really was big on 2 things. It was work ethic and discipline. What I mean by work ethic, how much I had to really push them to do the extra work, and the discipline part, what they were willing to sacrifice to be able to go to that level. So those are 2 keys that I focus on. And when I started to see them separating themselves from their peers and being a little more elite in those 2 areas, then I knew they had a chance.
Was it just ball handling? Was it determination? What exactly did you pick up on? Or was there a combination of things that you identified that really kind of rung the bell in your head? Hey, this kid has some talent.
With my oldest daughter, she was tall early on. And I played basketball. I was very athletic. I was pretty good. So I knew it was in her genes and the genetic. She had a cousin that played with me in college. Mom didn't place. With her, she was just early on tall. She started off in dance and things like that. Wasn't really interested, but I seen it, how she moved and knew she could be successful in it. So it was a little different from her because her first love wasn't basketball. With Lil Rob, uh, I seen it early on just with his muscles, twitches. First sport soccer, dominated that at 4 years old, dominated 6, 7 year old with speed, quickness, way he cut and move, then the football field, and then the basketball court. So you seen it early on that he could be special just with his twitches and how he moved.
So what did you notice in your daughter, LaRonda?
LaRonda just followed Lil Rob path. So whatever Lil Rob did, she did. So that would really help her out.
And she quick.
She
My
quit.
gosh, she was quick.
And so, and like I said, it was just soccer and just out there working and
Yeah.
drilling, doing different things, practicing fast twitch things, working on that stuff. It just translated. And of course, genetics plays a part in it as well.
Right. Now, McCray, elaborate for a second, if you will, on when you say twitch. What are you looking for? What do you mean when you say twitch?
So what I mean when I say twitch, just how they move with Rob and LaRonda, they move real quick in short spaces, so they twitchy. So it's almost like boom, 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 boom. And they get into spaces and short spaces really quick, past their defender or stand in front of the person they're guarding. Quanda, hers is more instinct. She didn't have that twitch. So hers is more instinct. So you have different area. I got another son. He has that quick first step, isn't as fast as those two. So Rob and LaRonda had that twitch and they were fast. But then in Shaquanda, it was instinct, Milton's first step is real good, but he's not as fast as those. So that's what I mean by that.
How did you balance being a supportive parent with letting coaches, and I know they all play AAU, and recruiters do their job with your children?
I basically sit back and watch. I never try to undermine a coach. Real quick story, 7th grade, Rob went to St. Andrews, was the second leading scorer on his team. Just a killer. Everybody knew he was already elite. Went over to Hand Middle School the next year. First 3 or 4 games, Rob probably played total of about 40 seconds. Every game, we in the stands. Everybody asked, what's wrong with Rob? Like, he in trouble? Because they know I'm a disciplinary, so if you ain't doing what you're supposed to, you ain't playing. No, he was straight. So, like, that third, fourth game, the fans were screaming, from the other team, they call him Lil Boo, put Lil Boo in the game while Lil Boo ain't playing. So, Rob did, he brought a D home on the interim. So I went to coach and was like, I might don't dress Rob this game, but I just one question, coach, I'm a coach, I understand. Like, it's not Rob not listening. He's being disrespectful. He's not winning the sprints. Like, what's going on with Rob? Why he's not playing? He was like, no, Rob, first in the sprint. He's a great kid. I love Rob. Effort, everything. He's talking and everything. He just sitting behind people who's better than him, which was not true. But that was the coach's team, and that was his opinion. And then he was able to do it because the first 3, 4 schools was really weak. So they was blowing him out. So when he got to the Southeast, he started to see they was losing. So he started to play Rob now and understanding who Rob was. So I'm always a parent that's going to sit back and like my wife, they were like, man, put him off the team. It's middle school. He just a train. I'm like, what you want to do, Rob? He's like, I want to play. I'm good. So continue to kill and practice. Control what you can control, son. And he did that. Ended up winning the MVP of the season. They lost in the championship, but did did his thing. So that mentality that I put in my kids, I never undermine your coach. You got to be almost my counterpart on Wiley. He say undeniable, be undeniable, and that's the thing. So you just go out there, work hard, control what you control, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. If it's truly unfair, we'll figure it out. But we're never going to undermine the coach. Never did that. Never went to the coach and complained. Never would do that. Just sat back and watched. He went through that similar thing at Wake Forest, and he was able to persevere because growing up, just taught all my kids, man, control what you control, work hard, and be great at what you do.
I love that.
We're not going to complain. We're not going to cry. We're just going to get better.
So, McCray, you didn't cuss the coach out.
Never.
I think that's important for parents to know that, like you just said, you can only control what you can control. And just be mindful to be professional with these coaches. They have their own thoughts as well, but...
And what I want you parents to understand is I'm a hell of a coach, excuse my language. So I can coach. I know the game like the back of my hand. When I sit in the stands and I never undermine the coach, whether I think he's the greatest coach in the world, I think he's the worst coach. I never undermine the coach.
That's good.
Be little the coach, especially not in front of the kids. I might have a little conversation here and there with a counterpart or some other, but my kids will never know that what I think of their coach, whether I think he's great or whether I think he's bad. They'll never know that.
What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during your recruiting process, and how did you overcome?
Some of the challenges was just figuring it out, man. It changed so much and doing certain things. Like I said, I was lucky to be a tribal coach and experience some recruiting before my kids was able to really get into it. So I got recruited out of high school. So I got a little experience in it. Then I asked questions, just ask questions here and there. Try to pick minds and things like that. Some of the challenges was basically just getting them to understand patience, not rushing to certain things, control what you control, of course, and of course, put them in the right situation. So I was very, especially not so much with my oldest daughter, but with LaRonda and LaRod, I was very strategic coming out of middle school, what high school, and where they was going at. So I had a couple schools in mind. I watched the coaches. I know the coaches in it. And with me, it was about who's going to pour into my kid, who's going to develop my kid on and off the court, what type of weight program they had, strength and conditioning program. Those things is very important to me for them to be able to go on to the next level. So that was very, very important to me when it comes to picking the high school. So that helped me help them to be able to be seen and recruited. Same thing with the tribal basketball program. Made sure I put them in the right places with the right people so they can be seen. Because at the end of the day, it's a cliche that everybody say, if you good, they'll find you. And not all the time, man. Sometimes you got to go find them. You know what I'm saying? So that was some of the biggest challenges, making sure I picked the right situation for them.
Did you, when you say when you have to go find them, one of our parents from our previous interviews said that she actually sat down and sent out emails and footage of her child just to get schools interested in her. Did you do something similar to that?
I had a few relationship with college coaches back then, not how I have now. So I saw some film and stuff like that, but a lot of stuff was just phone calls, word of mouth, playing out luckily. Like I said, I luckily was able to put them in this situation, so a lot of phone calls started to come to me. Josh Staley did a good job of marketing.
And we've had Josh Staley on before as well.
And Coach Wiley with the 76ers did a good job with my daughter. He was big impact in that. Now with LaRonda, it was a little different. I had to send a lot of film out and reach out to a lot of coaches. So she finished with like 6 NAIA offers coming up on academic and athletic. So that helped.
Yeah.
That helped with her.
And every athlete's path is different. And, when I think about your son, Robert, who we watched play in high school, and we knew he went to Wake Forest. What did you learn from Robert's transfer between schools that might help parents today navigate this complicated transfer portal? And it's blowing up now. It's bigger than ever before. What would you suggest?
First, just do your research, man, and understand that it's a lot of fluff in it. Understand that aspect. Rob, like I say, he was a unique case because he came out of school. His senior was COVID year, so we didn't go on no visits. Everything was virtual. We were looking at style of play. Forbes and his staff had just got to Wake Forest. I think they've been a year coming in. DJ Mackey was from Columbia, close friend of the family. That played a lot of part of it. Randolph Children was on the staff at the time. So that played a lot of part in the decision because it came down to actually 3 schools. And it was Wake Forest, it was Florida, and it was College of Charleston with Earl Grant. And we were leaning big on College of Charleston because Earl just impressed us on the visit. The only visit that we was able to take was College of Charleston. Everything else was virtual. The last Zoom call, Florida, we was going with Wake. Florida did emergency Zoom, and they almost flipped him. But I think DJ Mackey and me just liking Randolph Surgeries, was one of my favorite college players when I was in high school and when I got to college. And him being a guard and BJ being close, I said, okay, we'll trust those guys to get up there. And then, when you get up there, just, it's all about fit. when he was transferring and recruiting Coach Savage over at ESTU, he was the associate head at Wake while Rob was there. And he got a job the same year Rob was transferring out at ESTU. And every college in the world just thought Rob was going to ESTU, being that Savage came from there. But, we weren't going there.
Okay.
Like I say, it was a nice visit and we loved him, but we understood he was at Wake. And the thing was, nobody could tell us why Rob wasn't playing.
Wow.
And I never called during the season, things like that. But his sophomore year, actually, he did redshirt his freshman year. I wanted him, and I'll be honest, I wanted him to transfer out after his freshman year. He wanted to stay there, re-recruit him. At the end of your year, they're going to do an interview with you at Axe, you know what I'm saying? And he came back, and, I ended up asking him to redshirt him, asking him, do he want a red shirt? And he thought about it. He met with the coaches, and they thought it was a good idea. We had hit that portal because it just wasn't a fit.
Right.
And Forbes a great guy. Those coaching staff was great guys. Coach Savage was great guys. But we just thought Rob didn't fit that. And, Coach Trevor DeLoach was on Rob for a long time. When he was at Nicholson State, he was the first person to offer Rob as a freshman. So when Coach Missy was over at Florida recruiting Rob coming out. So Missy was the head at Jacksonville, and DeLoach never left Rob. He loved Rob. And we sat down and talked, and we went to a few visits, went to school, but, Jacksonville felt more home. Like it just felt more of, Missy reminded me a lot of Staley, but Josh Staley. Truly care about the kids, care about the future and building men. And DeLoach is my guy, and everything he told, everything he said, ain't true. So even after that next year, we had an outstanding first year at Jacksonville, and all the Power 4 schools, the Power 5 at the time was calling. We turned out, Rob turned out a lot of money to stay at Jacksonville University. And that's what kind of kid he is. So he was a very humble kid.
That wraps up another episode of Recruiting from the Bleachers. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to join us next week for another insightful conversation. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube at Recruiting from the Bleachers. Like, share, and follow to keep up with the latest updates. And don't hesitate to leave your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you. For a deeper dive into the basketball recruiting process, check out our book, Basketball Recruiting, A Parent's Perspective, available now on Amazon.com. Parents, remember, from the bleachers to the big leagues, the boardroom, let's keep cheering and steering our student athletes towards success.